There's several people, there are lots of people that are in their 20s, 25 that haven't been in a long-term relationship. They've probably been experiencing what you're experiencing, you know. They have a relationship that doesn't last beyond a few months, you know. There are people like that, you know. It happens to more people than you think. So it's not strange. It doesn't mean that you're strange, okay? That's you know, you've just so far, you know, you've not had what you've been looking for as far as something long term. But sometimes you really need to look at yourself as well, you know. Look back on your relationships, especially if you've had several. You know, if you've had several that have been short term and not really gone into the long term, look back on them, you know, and just think to yourself, how have you behaved in those relationships? Did you take it too far too soon? You know, did you, because this is what happens when people go through this, when they go through relationship after relationship that is short term and they don't really ever get into a long term relationship, they start getting desperate. So when they get into an actual relationship, they start overdoing it. It's like they overcompensate. If it's love, they show too much love. If it's attention, they show too much attention. It's almost as if they're doing everything in their power to let this other person know that they want to be with them. You know what that does? You might think you're doing the right thing by showing them love and all this stuff, but to them, they might feel like this is too much. You know, you're coming at me too hard. You know, and you might come off as being somewhat desperate in when you do that. You know, and you might freak them out. You know, whereas they might have actually enjoyed that down the road as the relationship progressed, but you stepped in it so early that now they freaked out. Okay, so you probably have been doing that too. You know, if you can look back in your relationship, just think about it. Have you ever really jumped the gun, or have you gone into a relationship where you thought, you know what, my past relationships have been so short term, I'm not even going to invest much of myself into this because I don't want to end up disappointed. So you end up not investing much of your emotion, much of your personality. The other person reads it, boom, before you know it, they're like, I'm not getting the attention I need. I'm getting out of this relationship. So try to look back on your past relationships and be self-critical. Be self-critical, you know, because it's not always the other person's fault. You know, be self-critical. And if you see moments where you've not behaved the way you should have, correct it. Correct it. And then you might have better luck in the future and actually have a long-term relationship. But don't get caught up in thinking, oh, I want a long-term relationship. Why haven't I had any? Because you're just gonna mess yourself up like that. You're gonna start thinking something's wrong with you, and you're gonna get caught up in that. Okay?